Welcome. I'm Miss Jill, and this is In the Know. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Usually we use In the Know to talk a little bit about what's happening in the community, in our community, as well as what's happening nationally. So as we all know, there's a lot going on right now. So we're going to start out with some good news. Let's talk about community. I want to start out first by saying Neutral Voices partnered with Brightpoint. Our Neutral Voices partnered with Brightpoint, and this is part 4, I believe, of a 4-part segment event. I'm going to let Mildred take it and talk about this last part of a 4-part segment that's coming up on
October 21st. Mm-hmm. So ONV and Brightpoint have gotten together to discuss and talk to our community about our finances and building stability. So on October 21st, we will be doing our last segment, which talks about credit. So we went over financial overview, banking, budgeting, and now credit. So this way, the information and the resources that they provide is free to the public. So I urge our viewers or listeners to please come out and support. It's at the summit on Rudisill, 1025 West Rudisill Boulevard. If you want to pre-register, you can do so by calling 260-348-5785. This is absolutely amazing because a lot of times people have to pay, and I don't know about you, but I've been struggling financially, and I'm sure a lot of us have. But Mindy Krupp, who is the speaker for Brightpoint, has been so instrumental in being transparent about her own life and her own journey. And she is absolutely amazing. So I encourage you, if you need any assistance when it comes to your finances or you want to build a business, they have resources for grants, micro grants, places that you can go to apply. So take advantage of the free financial pillar building stable foundations seminar on the 21st.
How much is it?
It's free. It's free.
Look, and you say that and you stress that, and it's really a shame that people won't even come out to something that's going to help them, even when it's free.
A lot of times they don't know.
And that's what I was going to say. Or send their children, their teens, or somebody in the family, at least to get the information.
You said teens and somebody in the family. I think that's so important, especially since in our education system they have taken out. I used to learn, they used to teach us how to write a check.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
how to budget.
With your own register.
Yes.
Register.
They don't do that anymore. And this is an opportunity to, if you have a daughter who does lip gloss or wants to sell lemonade on the corner,
that's right.
This is an opportunity for them to get their education about money, finances, and building a financial stability in their money, in their banking.
That's right. And my students that attended the other 2 sessions that they were able to be a part of, they enjoyed it and they learned a lot. So so I'm hoping that they're at this one too, because a lot of people don't understand that credit matters. Even, when you're young, you get that first credit card in your hand. When the abuse starts, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have the knowledge of it, then you can slide down that slope and you just get stuck.
And the knowledge is huge. I mean, we all about something say, if I would have known this, oh my goodness, like I would have started saving in a jar, and it's not like my parents didn't instill that in me, but clearly I didn't take it seriously.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I always say, and I tell my daughter, if I could do one thing different, it would be the way that I did my money, my everything, because it is so hard to fix.
And then guess what, Jill? And so that's one thing, and it was different back in our days, but now it actually matters, even with insurance.
Everything.
So everything, it's like people checking your credit.
Right.
So even some jobs, they actually check your credit.
Actually, opening a bank account, which they didn't do that before. They check your credit.
Yeah.
So it's important that even if you don't have a credit card or have any credit, it also affects you in a negative way.
Yeah.
So, educate yourself, be informed, utilize these resources that are out here in the community for free. Okay? For free.
For free. We love things that are free. So yeah, knowledge, free knowledge. The next thing I want to talk about is a gentleman that we've had on several times, Mr. Ayers, and he had something today that an event during the day called Miss Virginia's House Clothing Giveaway. So I'm not from the area, and I know that Miss Virginia was a big deal. Can somebody that can speak on Miss Virginia and her house talk a little bit about her?
So I personally didn't know Miss Virginia, but I do know Joe Ayers, and his community outreach partnered up, and it's called Pie's Clothing Closet Clothing Giveaway at Miss Virginia's house, 1312 South Hannah Boulevard, and that was today from 10 to 1, and then tomorrow as well. So if you missed it today, take an opportunity to go out there, bless them if you can. Take someone who may need some clothes. I think they also had some food. The Black Chamber of Commerce, you have Divine Providence, Victory, some other organizations and agencies that partnered up with Mr. Ayers, and he has been doing such a great just amazing events for men, for women.
For everybody. He's not missing
don't
anybody in the
discriminate.
community.
No.
And it's amazing that he has that much energy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because he's constantly on the go, and we just we
love
say
him.
we love you?
Yes.
Joe.
We appreciate
Yes.
everything you pour back into our community.
Yes,
and that is so
definitely.
important.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. He also had, I believe, an event today.
Yeah. Like
this
back to back.
The other one,
No, that's tomorrow.
The mental health.
Tomorrow. Is it
No,
tomorrow?
It's not mental health. It's the men's health.
Men's health. Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. And that's is it every other?
No, it's
Every second.
Every second Wednesday.
Okay. Gotcha.
So men out there that are listening, whether you're black, white, brown, Hispanic, if you are a man, not you identify as a man, if you're a man and you need help, mental health,
No, it's not mental health. It's medical help. As far as what he talks about is cancer. So
Okay.
he has a doctor that comes in, Dr. Coates.
Dr. Coates. Hey,
And
Dr.
They
Coates.
talk on many issues of man health. And it breaks it down. I mean, whatever topic they're talking about for that particular Wednesday, Dr. Coates breaks it totally down. Why you need to go get this check. Why is it important that you pre-check it? Why is it important that you find out early? I mean, he breaks it down to the point where it makes you want to go and get
checked
a
out.
physical.
Right.
And a lot of times, us black men in the community, us black men, we don't want to go to the doctor. We will, hey, when I pass out, that's when I go.
Go to the doctor.
I mean, I was one of them, so hey, it is what it is. But at this point, I go to the doctor every 6 months. So it's very important for men to step up and save their own lives, because you have to understand you do have kids, wives, grandkids. You got people that actually love you
Depend on
and depends on your movement.
That's right.
So you need to go check this out. It's very important. It's at the Impact Center. I think it starts at like 5 to 7. Every second Wednesday, third Wednesday, every second Wednesday of the month. And really get the information you want to know, because simple fact, you might have symptoms of certain things, or you might have, the doctor might say you got XYZ, and you have an on-hand doctor that could really break it down and talk to you like a 2-year-old versus giving you these big terminologies and all this other.
That's awesome.
And he's willing to sit down and talk to you like a 2-year-old and break it down to you. Hey, I would say go get it, go check it out.
Again,
And what I
for
have
free.
to say about Dr. Coates, he's actually touchable. Like he's open, and so he would have a conversation.
The
with
conversation. I mean, the last one I went to, the conversation was, "Hey, bruh." Like, hey, bruh, this is why you need to go get this done. You know what I'm saying? And really breaks it down and makes you understand your body, your thought process. And I mean, it's awesome. It's an awesome time.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
Dr. Coates is so personable. This weekend he also spoke on his journey, our neutral Miss Crystal Perry from Our Neutral Voices, who also does a segment here on mental health. They had a program on Saturday, and he spoke on, health and his journey of why he became a doctor. And a lot of times we complain because we don't see doctors that look like us, that talk like us. And Dr. Coates is the perfect example of a community doctor. He knows you. He knows a lot of people from very young. But why is it, Eric, that men don't check themselves, but yet they're quick to get an oil change, check their car, air pressure, but when it comes to them, you don't care about that ride.
That ride?
Yeah, this ride.
That vehicle.
Because we've been too busy on the grind. The thought process.
You don't blame it on that.
No, the thought process, if I don't work, I don't eat.
But
But they watching sports.
We watch sports, we play sports, but at the
club,
at the forefront of our brain
doing stuff.
is I
just
gotta
don't take the
I just gotta go make.
Gotta
this
make the
money.
paper.
So you ask that. That's very important. I used to play sports so much I didn't have to go to the doctor so much because I was in shape. Out of shape.
Yep.
I got a dad. My daughter called it a dad bod. Well, I sit around, have my fun, sit
Nothing
back.
wrong with dad bod.
in the midst of all that, you still have to go get your body checked.
Gotcha.
You still have to understand. You might be in the bed and have a stroke in the middle in your sleep.
Yep.
And you never know because you could wake up, you think you're fine, but half of your body is you trying to figure out why your left hand and your arm can't move.
You're absolutely right. And so, you know what I want to say to that, because you're right, and I'm glad you did get yourself checked out. But I agree with you from the sense of, like, my father, for instance, he never wanted to miss work. He always wanted to be at work because he's thinking about taking care of his family. And I'm sure there's a lot of other men and fathers that think the same way. So
Yep.
I agree with that. But
Absolutely.
you got to put yourself first.
Absolutely. So I think, too, the things that we've mentioned, the events we've mentioned, you have to take care of your physical health. You have to take care of your mental health. And sometimes we already know these things. It just takes somebody like Mr. Ayers who has been through it, or like Dr. Coates.
Dr. Coates.
So it takes somebody that you can resonate with to kind of push you over the edge. So physical health, mental health, there's a lot of resources out there right now, especially attached to Our Neutral Voices.
That's right.
So if we could move forward onto the nitty gritty here, because it's not all good news, as we all know. So Israel is officially at war. Let's start out by saying what does that mean for America? How does that impact America? What does this have to do with us, basically, is the
It really
question.
shouldn't have nothing to do with us, but it has a lot to do with it.
Right.
Because the simple fact that we have a lot of treaties with Israel. Money. You're talking about billions and billions of dollars of trades, goods, and services back and forth between the nations. So it breaks down to, we need to get over there, and because a lot of things a lot of our resources comes from Israel. Majority of, I want to say about a good 40% of our resources comes from Israel.
Now, I'll say, he's saying that, and I'm going to tell you, so he going into a deep place I don't know much about. Only thing I can say is when I heard that, then I remembered some of the Bible prophecies. And so I have to be honest and say that I was a little shaken, and fear came over me, like, as soon as I heard it. And then I had to take a moment and pause and say, no matter what, God got me, right? So I had to remind myself, put my armor back on, because for a minute when people start talking, see, it matters who gives you the news.
Absolutely.
When they deliver the news, it's the way they tell you.
Yep.
And so when they tell you, you know what happened? Guess what happened? Israel been attacked, da-da-da. You know what that means? So, sometimes people can put fear on you. And so as soon as I heard it, that's the first thing I went to, is thinking about Israel being scattered And you know in the Bible when it talks about the prophecies of war and rumors of wars,
that's right.
and so you already been looking at a whole lot of other things that's been going on as far as prophecies, and so you just don't think this stuff is going to happen in your lifetime. And so I have to admit, you know, that for me, I was thinking, here we go. You know, this is a time when the Bible said to look up. Once you look up, it says look up and pray, because this is the time.
So I had a couple of people call because they thought it was the end.
See what I'm saying?
In time.
They was calling. They was probably
they
saying people
missed.
call me.
Like
No.
they missed the trumpet. And as a Christian, as a believer, you know, I feel you on that,
Yeah.
because the Bible does talk about end times and the importance of Israel, not only for the resources, but for the U.S. We have so much money. We have basically
Babylon.
promised them consistent financial backing for war, for infrastructure. So we are tied down, and it kind of upsets me just a tad, because there are children in our school systems, you know, that don't have food, that, you know, our government's closing down because they can't do a budget, but yet we have allocated, I believe it's $3 billion.
What is it?
$3 billion on a yearly
My
basis. Every 12 months.
They get $3 billion.
$3 billion, not million, with a B.
And you know who did
How
that,
long
right?
we got to stay in
That
this country?
was, I believe, during the Obama administration.
Yeah, that was the largest
Yes.
in history.
Yes. So it is scary for us in the U.S. because we're already struggling financially. You know, we talk about, you had GM about to strike. You had other businesses striking and wanting more money, and we don't have money, and the government shutting down, and they're not paying the military because the budget isn't complete. But yet here we are giving and I know Israel is our ally, but sometimes we depend so much on other people.
Yep.
And we don't speak up. We don't speak up by not voting. Y'all, voting is right around the corner locally. I urge you to go out and vote, whether it's for a municipality, for the mayor, whatever, locally. You have to go out and vote. That is how your voice is heard, because eventually that's going to trickle down to the White House.
Right.
You know, and our money is at stake. Sometimes we can't get paid because of what they're doing in the government.
Yeah.
Now there's a war.
So before we move on to the next, I have something, just a short sentence that I want to read and see if we agree, because it plays into what we were talking about. The final battle isn't going to be on U.S. soil. When Jesus returns, he isn't returning to the United States. What does that mean to you, saying that the final battle is not going to be
Was that in the Bible?
on U.S. soil?
No, that's not in the Bible.
Look, I'm trying to get the info. Where's that from?
The Bible says,
Where's the resource?
as the nations wage war against Israel, Jesus will come and destroy his enemies with the breath of his mouth.
Okay. But
So-
see, here's the biggest thing. I really don't want to get into it, because it's crazy how people use the word on their own way, and not understanding what it's really saying.
Yeah, this is a whole 18-paragraph thing that I found.
So when it's all said and done, when Christ do come, it's not going to be America. It's not going to be this country. It's not going to be this. It's going to be one country at that point in time. So you can't sit there. I mean, when you break something down, you really need to break it down and understand what they're saying when they write stuff and put it out in public.
Yeah. But that's exactly how I read it. It's exactly what you just said, but it is about perspective, just like the Bible. I mean, some people perceive certain things in the Bible. So this is the same. So when I read it, I read it like when it said the final battle isn't going to be on U.S. soil. Basically, we're worried about the physical battle right now. A lot of people are. And the spiritual battle, what you guys started talking about, is also something that we should be worried about. So that's why when I read that, it tied into what you said, because I also don't think the final battle is. I mean, I can't say where it's going to be, but it's a spiritual
but to
war.
go back to the original question. The reason why it's so important for the United States because it's pulling our resources. I mean, you gotta think now they sending our boys, our fellas. That's supposed to be protecting us. Is going over there to protect a whole nother country.
Right, and some of the hostages are American. Like,
some of the hostages are American. So you have to understand you pulling major resources. Now you're already giving this country $3 billion for everything. They have money. They have a war. I mean, they have an army. They have a strong army. So you taking our army, and so now you taking more money over there to fight, and you won't even allocate money to fight for your own homeless soldiers that's in America.
that's exactly how I feel.
Let's make it make sense, government.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
If you're taking care of your own, just like if you're taking care of your own family in your home and you have extra groceries and you take them over to your neighbor because they're hungry, but you're still good.
Right.
And now they're okay. But if you cannot take, have you ever heard of Kensington, Philadelphia? The people walking around like zombies because they are so drugged out on fentanyl and everything else. If you watch a video on Kensington, Philadelphia, it will make you very angry because it's not just there, but the state of our people, like you just said. I mean, if you can't take care of your own, if you can't take care of your own house and they're starving, why are you taking care of theirs?
Somebody else's
I'm with you 100%. I get the reasoning, but that's how I feel. I think that's how a lot of people feel, even if they don't say it.
If you stop bartering, taking the resources from other countries, and utilize the resources you have in the United States, you wouldn't have to worry about nothing else.
But this is so much deeper and bigger than this. Like, we don't really have the time, and I'm going to say the capacity on this panel to unpack this, because it goes so much further, and the Bible actually reveals a lot of this to us. I know somewhere in Ezekiel, I don't know, 37-ish, somewhere 38, I don't know, but even in the book of Ezekiel, it speaks about Russia in a sense, and that this war is going to happen. And so that's when I was talking about the people being scattered and then brought back together. And so those things that are the signs of the times, and we would look and see that those things are happening. And as you do research and dig deeper to see who is Magog and who they represent, and then you'll see Persia in there, and you'll see that these people are in a battle, and it's happening right now. So only thing I'm saying is, who knew it would happen on our watch? Like, our eyes would witness these things that's taking place.
Right.
So, it's so much more. And so I'm not.
What do you mean, like, why didn't it happen generations before, or why? No.
I'm saying, like, I didn't want to be here to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying so soon.
Oh, gotcha.
Because you've been hearing this, and there's some people that would be saying, I knew it was time. So I'm just saying, for me, because I know some people that have studied this in a deep way, and when they were trying to tell me about it, I'm like, that's heavy. That's a lot. I didn't know that was so close to me. And then so to know that they are actually, this has happened. So it's like, beware of the days that you hear that there has been a war raged against Israel, and that is the day that we're sitting in right now.
Right.
So I'm saying there's so much to say that for these 30 minutes that we have, we cannot do the subject justice. So this is just grazing the surface and speaking our personal opinions without, I'll say, our real notes, and have studied all of the scripture that we would need to have a good conversation about this.
So my pastor is an eschatologist.
There you go.
This is her expertise. I wish she was here.
Boom.
But in Zechariah 12:3-4, God says, I will make Jerusalem like an intoxicating drink that makes the nearby nation stagger when they send their armies to besiege Jerusalem and Judea. So what's happening right now is Hamas has a little portion, just a tiny portion of the country, right? And there's two two mega houses on either side, right? And it's like a bully at a school. He's trying to infiltrate,
bully it.
right? He's trying to bully, and the way they did it was to be sneaky, because how my pastor would say, they were sleeping, not sleeping in the physical sense,
Yeah.
but they came when young adults were having a good time.
Yeah, it was at a
they were
festival.
at a festival. They had their guards down, and the Bible talks about that. You know, if we are called by his name, you know, and we understand and get into his word. This is some real stuff. We can't be going to church every day, looking at the Bible, and then when things like this happen, say, oh my God, I didn't know.
That you can't correlate the two. Well, when we talk about election coming up, so the violence has sparked all kinds of protests, both about the violence, a lot political, a lot of, you know, Democrat, Republican. Split views. Biden's name has came up quite a bit with the foreign policy. So what does this look like? Will this all seep? I mean, how can it not seep into the elections? How can this not sway certain things? Let's talk about that for a second, and then we're going to talk about Biden and Trump maybe having some competition coming up. So do we think this is going to affect the elections in any way?
Absolutely.
How?
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. How is it going to?
First and foremost,
You think?
it's going to start off affecting how the next president can proceed and deal with this without major effect to the United States. Now, you have to look at it from that aspect from it, and how our president that is in seat is handling it right now. So you got to look at the different views. And if you don't understand how he's handling it, he's not handling it good at all. I mean, let's make it make sense. And it's more than about just this particular incident. Let's look at the last 4 years, or however many years he's been in
The whole
office.
time.
So you got to look at everything that he has done, his whole track record. Now, let me say this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be clear about this. Politicians are liars.
No.
So we can't get fooled. I'm gonna put it like this, and I'm gonna be quite honest. And I know people gonna get upset when I say what I'm about to say, but I don't care. Take it how you want it. Please enjoy your night. We already had the smooth taste that fooled us in Obama, and I'm just gonna be 100 about it. When you got the hard nose in the office, even though he ran the United States like he's supposed to be a business, but his personal side, what he said and how he handled business on his personal side ruined him.
I've never agreed with you so much with everything that you just
So
said.
I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican,
You're shocked? I know, me too.
but it's just reality is reality.
It is.
Yep.
So let's look at the reality. Now we need somebody in office that's going to run the United States back like a business.
Yes, yes.
It's just that simple.
Get things back in order.
The United States is a corporation. So why not have a businessman in there? I'm not saying we put Trump back in there. By all means, we need another businessman. I'm just going to be quite honest.
One is running.
So what about there is someone that's different, and there's something different too about the way that he's running. So let's talk about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for the 2024 election, running independent. Yes. What does that look like? Is that competition? Like good competition, or is it like that's a good idea, or there's no way?
So it reminds me of 1992. When Ross Perot ran as an independent, and what happens when you have an independent, you have Democrat, Republican, and then you have somebody who wants to go in the race not on either house, right? So what happens is those voters that would have swayed left or right now come to the independent side, and then we get somebody who we really didn't want.
Right.
So that's how I'm feeling right now. I feel like deja vu of 1992. Good year, but
But it's smart.
But it sounds like nobody really wants Biden. Nobody really wants.
It's strategic.
So
Right.
in this case,
But I don't think Trump is going to be I don't think the Republicans are going to use him as their front runner.
They're backing him though.
Oh, they're backing him?
They're backing him even while he's in court. They're backing him.
Mm-hmm.
They're not being loud and boisterous about it.
Being cheerleaders about it this time,
Right,
but they are.
but they are backing him.
And I heard them
that's,
say that.
That's, to me, that's scary, especially in a time like this, because to me, he's like a baby. If he don't get his way, he gets
Temper
temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so that frightens me as a country. You know, you talked about this is a business. You know, the United States is one of the biggest bullies in the world.
Exactly.
You know, we had Christopher Columbus Day just recently, and he didn't discover America. There was
that.
people here already. You know, so that frightens me just a little bit. But
the United States always been bullies. If we don't get our way, if we don't get our ways, we go in there, we steal, we destroy, and then say, "Oh, that's ours," and then we have nothing to do with.
that's like me jumping in your car and saying, "I just discovered your car. I need a transportation." If you leave the key, you know, I saw that on a TikTok thing. I started laughing because it's so true.
Wow.
You come into a space and then say,
They have squatters' rights.
Yeah, right. Well, on that note, Chris saw it
You
first.
can't put 'em out
or
either.
didn't.
Yeah, squatters' rights.
So good discussion, as always, on topics that we need way more time for. So we just kind of touched them briefly. We always have good conversation no matter what it's about. So relationships. We have a relationship. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about relationships, different kind of relationships. Work husbands, work wives, platonic relationships, friendships, marriage, all the ships. So join us tomorrow at 8:30 as we talk about men and women and the relationships that they are in. But before we head out, what do we always say?
Always protect your mind.